Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Rugby League off-season. So, wow, it hasn't slept, and there's so much going on at the moment. Draws being leaked by the NRL themselves, so they can't even wait till tomorrow when they actually release the whole thing. They've just been giving us little spoon-fed, or we're getting spoon-fed, little rounds here and there, and already plenty of talking points through that, which we will tackle. Isaac once again predicted all this. He said, just wait. Obviously, past November 1, we're not going to get much. It's going to be at least a week and a half later because obviously the 10-day cooling off period, things like that. Smack on the money once again. So, again, guys, keep listening to us because I've got someone who knows what he's talking about for once. So, it's fantastic. You're not just ripping me apart for all my opinions. So, there is so much to talk about, so many signings, our thoughts on things. We're going to keep you up to date with everything. Some rumors, some big rumors at the moment, which is big to talk about. And I've asked Isaac a few days ago to get some bit more, if he can, find out a bit more information about this sort of stuff. So hopefully he can. But again, myself, Isaac, along the ride for this one. Thank you to our League of Interest sponsor, Caxton Street Brewing Company as well. But Isaac, straight into things. How's things for you, firstly? Because you look fresh.
Yeah, we're in the depth of the transfer market now, which has just brought us to life, I guess. This afternoon alone, we're recording this obviously on Thursday night. This afternoon, just back to back posts. It's a new target tier signings there. It's just been it's been a frenzy, and we've got so much to kind of get stuck into when. Kind of different from you, Joel. I'm lucky that I just do news and facts because if I gave some of my opinions on a few things, I think I'd be teared to shreds as well. So I try to keep my mouth shut on a lot of things and just, kind of bring the news because trust me, if you guys heard some of my opinions, I don't think you'd like me very much. So no, we've got a ton of news to get into and I'm keen to get stuck into all of it.
That sounds like a challenge for me over the next couple of weeks to get as much as I can out of you before we go on a break. So, guys, just before we get stuck into it, just to let you all know, because I have had a few messages lately about the podcast, how things are tracking. So we will continue this for a few more weeks. There's obviously so much happening still. We're anticipating a few more signings over the next few weeks to talk about. The Bears to start getting active. There's so much, the R360 signings, everything. So we will continue. I know a few pages out there or podcasts out there have basically switched off and said, see you next year. We will continue. At this stage, we'll probably have December off and then get back into it probably the second week of January. So a little bit of a break over that. In that time frame for the League of Interest podcast side of things, we'll be doing probably a bit of Supercoach because that will be released, I think, second or third week of December. Oh, no, live podcast. There we go. We don't know what happened there. But all right, let's get stuck into things. Technology, how good is it? Keon Koloamatangi, Isaac. There's Parramatta fans that will be listening right now wanting to just drop to their knees in Bunnings, Macca's, KFC, wherever they are. They're going to be dropping to their knees. Hopefully not in your car, guys. Just keep your feet and stuff on the accelerator, eyes on the road. But what's the latest? I've heard the Raiders have popped up now as well. I'm interested to hear about that one because for mine, they've already got a stacked pack, and I'm just not sure if losing Josh Papali'i would be enough to free up enough coin for Keon. But by all reports, thanks to Brent Reed yesterday on a Triple M podcast, he mentioned that the Eels are huge in their pursuit of Keon.
Yeah, so the Eels are quite keen on him. And gosh, speaking of Canberra Raiders, and we'll get a little bit more into it later, but rugby league fans are hilarious. I think every team gets their time in the spotlight of cheating the salary cap, and the amount of comments I got yesterday about Canberra now cheating the salary cap, this definitely would not help if they got Keon. So, South Sydney Rabbitohs forward, Keon Koloamatangi, who I think was a top 3 forward in the competition last year. I absolutely love this bloke. He is set to go on the market. And the Eels have popped up as a potential suitor. Now, Brent Reed said that they're going quite hard on him. Now, we've got a few other options as well, though, and I feel it's really important to highlight them more before we get to the main crux of it. So we got the Parramatta Eels who are keen on him. Now, it should be noted as well, they're said to be pretty keen on Nelson Asofa-Solomona as well. I think Keon probably be a little bit more of a likely target considering he's definitely staying in the NRL. We're not too sure about Nelson at the moment. Canberra as well have been floated around as a potential landing spot for him. Now, I've been told as well that the Dragons and the Dogs are both keen on Koloamatangi as well. So it's essentially a 4-team race there when you're looking at rival clubs. Now, the Eels are the loudest at the moment, with Canberra probably trailing just behind. Dragons and Dogs, kind of, in the background. Another option as well that I've been told, obviously everyone knows about Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, who's most likely heading to the Storm. I'm not, we haven't heard anything major, but it's all kind of aligning at the moment. I've been told if they don't get Tino, Keon could become an option for them over in the Melbourne Storm. Now, in saying all of that, I've also been told that Keon wants to stay with the Rabbitohs. It's just a matter of getting the money that he's kind of after. So I believe he's looking at between probably about 900 to $1 million a year, which isn't crazy if you're signing him for what he is going to the market as, which is a front rower. He's officially taken on that front rower title. He doesn't want to be a back rower anymore, and I think we can all agree he's much better in the middle than he is on the edge. So he's probably looking around that 900 to $1 million mark. Now I've been told that he'll knock back every offer if he gets the offer that he wants from the Rabbitohs, and it's just a matter of essentially the South Sydney Rabbitohs giving him the offer they want. So look, Eels fans, because I know that you've got a lot of Eels fans who follow the podcast, follow your page, obviously. And I know you, Joel, would be keen to hear that Keon is on his way. I think that if everyone throws him the money that he wants, including the Rabbitohs, he's most likely going to stay in Redfern. If the Rabbitohs don't offer him the money that he's kind of after, then I'd probably say that Eels are in the lead to get his signature.
I'll take that. It's not the exact answer I was looking for, but it's good enough. I'll take that. Interesting. I don't know if you've heard the same, but I've heard obviously the Bears would have been very keen, but I don't think he's very keen on moving over there with his family. So I'm not sure if that's what you're hearing, but yeah, I've heard that the Bears aren't quite an option at the moment. He'd rather probably stay in Sydney, or like you said, worst case, and they haven't really come in hot, so he hasn't had to make that decision yet on the Storm, but. Funnily enough, it's basically all Sydney teams linked to him because I think he does want to stay.
Yeah, I haven't heard so much on the Perth Bears at the moment. I think the Bears now, I think it's gotten to the point where the Bears, similar to the Dolphins a few years ago, the Bears are linked with essentially everyone. That it's hard to get a grasp on just who's really linked and who's just kind of being floated around because they're a free agent. And like you'll see, they are set to make their first signing. That came out today, which we can touch on a little bit later, but it's essentially a no-name player. And that's because, with all this noise going around the Bears, I think people are not realizing that there's reality at the bottom of that. And so you're not going to get these big names heading over to the Bears that I guess a lot of Bears fans are hoping for, and a lot of Dolphins fans were hoping for a few years ago. So I wouldn't say Koloamatangi is an option, the Bears are an option for Koloamatangi. I think Redfern is at the top of his list. I'd probably say Eels are just behind. And I think, he does want to stay in Sydney if possible.
If the Eels can land him, I think he would be massive, because I think a lot of people are forgetting as well, we've got Junior off at the end of next year as well. So, and he's on a pretty big wicket. So from what I've been told and what I can just look at and see, I think there's a fair bit of money for the Eels to play with from 2027 onwards. And I would not be surprised. I'm not trying to overexcite it all, but it actually looks like, to me, looking at things, Parramatta will be a very big player over the next couple of months with player signings for 2027. I think they can do and chase not just one big fish. I reckon they could probably go after two with the money that they're going to have at their disposal. It'd be interesting to see what they end up doing and what positions. And then also the Lomax, what happens with Lomax. They might have that contract money freed up. Gutho money will be finished by then, paying him and stuff like that. Madison will be gone. Hands, all that contract will be gone. Sean Lane's retired, so I'm pretty sure that's already freed up now. But yeah, there just seems to be at the moment, Parra could be a little bit of a sleeping giant in the recruitment market. I know everyone's talking about the Bears, and rightly so, but when you look across the board, Parra probably have one of the bigger war chests to play with at the moment.
Absolutely. And I've referenced them a few times over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to do it again. The Bulldogs heading into 2024, that's kind of the energy I'm getting from the Eagles right now. I'm getting, Cameron Ciraldo vibes with Jason Riles. the Bulldogs had a war chest to work with, and they got their guys. A lot of people don't realize that, Parramatta Eels, Canterbury Bulldogs, these are two of the biggest clubs in New South Wales. Yes, both have gone through some, pretty average times over the last few years, but once they're ready to go, they are ready to go, and people want to play for them. So the Parramatta Eels are a club that people want to play for. You mistake me if I'm wrong. They may be the biggest club in New South Wales. If not, they're definitely top 3 in terms of memberships and sales and stuff. So you're absolutely correct that the Parramatta Eels are a sleeping giant, and they've got a war chest to work with. And honestly, if I'm a star player, there's no club in New South Wales that's got the money that I'd want to play for other than the Parramatta Eels. For those of you who have kind of been following along what I do with Zero Tackle and stuff, I've picked the Eels to make the top 4 next year. Like, I've got real high hopes for the Eels. And if I'm a star player looking for my next club to go to and I want big money, I'm not going past the Parramatta Eels at the moment.
Just a quick one off the cuff. You mentioned the Perth Bears before. What's doing with them? What is actually doing with them? I'm not just talking signings either. I'm talking about, we haven't had a confirmed logo yet. We haven't had a confirmed jersey yet. And they're now in the stage where they can sign players. You'd think they'd want to get like pictures and stuff, and they'd want to, with posts and stuff like that on their social media, feature their like logo and stuff. Yet we've got nothing. It's like they're still, like on face value, and it's probably not the case, but it feels like they're still 4 or 5 steps behind where they probably should be at this stage.
Look, I'm aware that they really put things into action, essentially this year as soon as they could get things going. But there were concerns that they hadn't set themselves up for a long enough window to get into the NRL by 2027. Now, I don't remember the exact month that they were announced to really, be entering the NRL once again, but I don't believe they have had much time, maybe 18 months, leading up to round 1, 2027. Now, I'm as confused as you are as what's doing. Now, I don't remember how long it took the Dolphins to really, essentially set their brand. I don't think the Perth Bears have an Instagram right now. There's absolutely nothing going on at the moment. Now, there was a scandal with the Perth Bears a few months ago, and the NRL was investigating the Bears for a potential tampering issue between them and the Gold Coast Titans. There was a major blow-up there. Now, from what I understand, that's still somewhat under investigation. Is that prolonging that? It definitely could be, and that could be the main reason why we haven't seen them really, sprout out, because you're absolutely right. Like, this is now becoming a little bit concerning. And since we're kind of talking about the Bears already, they made their first signing today, or they're set to, according to Wired World of Sports. And he's a 17-year-old. I'll get his name up right now. It's Hendricks Topiki. So I believe he's in the Panthers system. That's their first signing, which, good on him, and that's awesome. And I love the direction the Bears are going in terms of getting young talent in. But I'm concerned that all this news is coming out, but there's no opportunity for him to don the Perth Bears logo, or to show up on their Instagram, or to even be at a press conference with Mal Meninga. There's nothing going on at the moment, and I'm going to put it to this whole investigation that's going on at the moment, because otherwise I have no idea what's going on.
It's just a weird time, because at the moment you'd think they're inside like the 12-month window. They're essentially like an active club now, because they can sign players, they're building. They can technically sign free agents right now, guys. And if they've aligned themselves with the Bears New South Wales Cup side, which I'm pretty sure it will happen, they can basically just sign them to play with them for like 12 months. And they're a Bears player type thing. Sort of, I don't know. And it's Christmas time. You'd be thinking like Bears fans want to buy a jersey. For the club's point of view, it's a great time to make a bit of money. Like, make a couple of quick like mil or something in merch over Christmas time, and just nothing still. It's just, it's so weird. It really is strange. Like, I think back in the Dolphins established that Dolphin like early days, my memory serves me correctly, which normally it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure they had that Dolphin and everyone was going, Dolphin, like, that's a bit weird. The Dolphins, give us Redcliffe Dolphins or something. I mean, they were just so adamant with it.
I remember,
and it's
that,
actually been quite well. Like, it's actually been good. The big dolphin is the logo. Like, everything was really good with them. Where, this is just puzzling to say the least. But Do you have
Yeah,
something?
just on that, can I just say it still bothers me to this day that they're called the Dolphins. That I absolutely hate that. Every single team in the competition has their their location in front of them. I absolutely hate that they are the Dolphins. It feels so I don't know if unprofessional is a word, but it still bothers me to this day. And I haven't got an opportunity to really get that frustration out. So I thought I'd quickly step in there. Feel free to continue.
Look,
But yeah.
it's nitpicking, but I'd actually go as far as saying I don't even think the is part of it. I think it's just Dolphins.
Is
I
it
think
Dolphins?
it's just Dolphins, but naturally everyone says the Dolphins. So yeah, who knows? It is what it is working. So well done, Tom. And just quickly on them, I reckon they're in for a stellar year next year. I think they're going to be fantastic. So,
Absolutely.
Kobe Black, the Broncos are the fans are a bit up in arms. I listened to Denon Kemp bloke in the bar and his reaction and stuff like that. To be fair, I had a bit of a laugh as well. It's funny because I think, and there's nothing being confirmed from the Raiders side, but the Broncos have come out and already in a media statement mentioned that they have released him for 2027. Now, let's tackle firstly just about Broncos. You've just signed Jonah Pezzett, who is just one of the absolute brightest young talents in the game. You've obviously prioritized Pezzett over Black. That's okay. I can wear that. I actually don't mind that decision at all. But come on, you can't keep everyone. And I know this whole argument of, oh, we've just won a comp, you stay there and be loyal. But no, like he has literally now no avenue into first grade. And people say, oh, no, stay there and fight. Not for the money that they signed Pezzett for. It's a 3 or 4 year deal. They're clearly planning with Pezzett for the future. So I'm all for Kobe Black leaving. To be honest, Isaac, I think Raiders are doing some great things in their recruitment market. They are going after some of these really young talents that are just on fire. They are doing some really slick things in the recruitment market, and it's really going unnoticed, I feel like, by a lot.
Yeah, if the Canberra Raiders were the Canterbury Bankstown Raiders or the Parramatta Raiders or the Penrith Raiders, everyone would be up in arms about what they are doing right now. Because they're in Canberra and, if you're not in Canberra, you're not thinking about Canberra, they have gone absolutely under the radar. Their recruitment has been absolutely unreal. If you look at their spine right now, they've got a top 7 fullback, a top 3 5/8 probably at the moment, if not definitely top 5. They've got one of the brightest young nines in the country, sitting on their bench essentially.
Best fullback in the comp.
It's just it's endless. You know what I mean? And so and not to mention that every player that I just mentioned is under the age of 23, under the age of 24. Like it's absolutely unreal. And now they're getting in the best young halfback in the competition, in the lower grades in the country, maybe aside from Mitch Woods. They're definitely neck and neck for the best, halves in the country. And they've got Ethan Sanders still sitting there waiting for his opportunity. So the Canberra Raiders have absolutely killed it. We'll start off with the Brisbane Broncos, obviously. I agree with you wholeheartedly. The Broncos have made their decision. Is it the right decision? I guess, remains to be seen. I don't love it. I personally think that Kobe Black will be a better player than Jonah Pezzett is, or will be. But at the end of the day, you can't really go wrong there. You've got a good 7 there. And not to forget, they got that young guy from the North Queensland Cowboys coming over as well. I think it's is it Tom Duffy? Yeah,
Duffy,
Tom Duffy. So who was touted as, the next really big thing at the 7 over in North Queensland. So they're fine. They'll be fine. I know Brisbane Broncos fans aren't happy about it, but you've got Reece Walsh as your fullback. You've now got Jonah Pezzett and Ezra Mann as your halves. You'll be just fine. You'll be okay. The Canberra Raiders, on the other hand, you are absolutely killing it. You've got essentially probably 5 years from now, easily the best spine in the competition, mirroring the Brisbane Broncos. And Kobe Black gets a real opportunity. Now, the odd one out here is obviously Ethan Sanders. It worries me a little bit. Perhaps they don't have as much faith in him as they did when they first brought him into their system. But I think that makes now Ethan Sanders one of the hottest players or young players in the country in terms of potential purchases. I don't know what his contract looks like right now, but I definitely think this is now opened a potential gateway for Ethan Sanders to leave the club. There's all the opportunity. This is an opportunity for them both to fight for the 7. It's not the same thing as the Jonah Pezzett and Kobe Black thing. I'd say that Sanders and Black are both on roughly the same amount of money. But yeah, this is an absolute masterstroke by Ricky Stewart and the Raiders, and I can't believe they pulled it off, to be honest. The one thing I do want to know is there's unlikely to be an early release for Kobe Black to the Raiders in 2026. I believe the Raiders have ruled that out, and they're keen to have him play for the Brisbane Broncos, a junior side up until 2027. So I don't expect an early release from Kobe Black. I think we'll see Ethan Sanders as a halfback for the Raiders next year.
Yeah, I can't see Sanders staying at that club post this next year. So next year's a big year for Sanders to prove that he can handle NRL. It's a big ask as well because he's still very young. Like it's going to be a huge ask. The best thing for him next year is that, in a way, it could be some false hope to other teams because he'll be playing behind arguably the best forward pack in the competition. So he should be able to have a really good platform laid for him most weeks, which will help help him a lot. But he won't get that at a lot of other clubs. So there'll be a decision to make with him and his manager and what to do moving forward if he gets into that battle and things like that. With Kobe Black, I love that old rivalry, and you have two guns just going at it. Like, I'd love to see it, but we're seeing that more and more, and especially with two new clubs coming in the next 3 years. I have a feeling he might be a target for some of those as well. But just on the early release, I don't blame the Raiders at all because Kobe Black's not ready next year to be halfback at that club. So if I was them, I want him to stay there as well for sure. If I'm the Broncos, though, they've got actually some pretty good depth next year in that position. I don't think he will get a spot in first grade. So you wouldn't be against releasing him early, but by like you said, the Raiders don't really need it. So I don't think they'll agree to it. And they'll probably, probably be one of those things where they agree to it like the week before June 30 or something. It'll be something silly. So we'll see what happens there. Alrighty. Victor Radley, the Roosters in the news once again, mate. I want to know your thoughts here because one thing I'll say right now, I had some thoughts about this and put something up about it. And the Roosters fans all of a sudden who've been under a rock for a while showed face. They're actually out there, which is good to see. And all it took was people to basically state facts about their club and a pretty piss poor way they've handled this, if I'm going to be brutally honest, for them to come out of the woodworks and actually defend their club and show they've got some fans. So well done to you all out there. Yeah, haven't been very kind in the comments, so I thought I'd take a chance. And I did say to a few of you that I'd have my say on it tonight, and I'm not going to reply to 1,000 bloody comments. So what are your thoughts, though, before I get into this? Because what's happened at the moment? So the Roosters gave him a 10-match suspension with obviously what's happened. I'm not going to go back into it. They obviously know more than what we do. They've had private conversations, and whatever's happened from then has happened. They've, since those private conversations, warranted it was a 10-game suspension. Now, early the start of this year, South Sydney were very lenient. It's in a nice way to say it about Latrell Mitchell's punishment for his video, where you could clearly see what he was doing and what he was around. So Nick Pliers chose to take a shot at the biggest rivals that they've got, South Sydney, and say basically to the words were that it was piss poor and that he doesn't stand for the drug culture, and anyone in the Roosters found part of a drug culture will be sacked. That's literally what his words were. And this obviously then happened. He didn't sack Victor Radley, so he went against what he said to start with. So there's one little cross against Uncle Nick's name, Roosters fans, and that's just a fact. That's what's happened. Then he's given a 10-game ban. Guess what? Now they've come out and said the 3 Ashes games, which Victor actually ruled himself out for. He said before it all happened, don't select me because basically he's obviously had a bit of a big time and wants to just chill out, which is totally fine. So he wasn't actually eligible to make that series. Now they've also said trial games will be included. Like, I've heard it all. I've had Isaac help a brother out here because I cannot believe a series that he wasn't even part of he can include, and B, trial games. We're at trial games now. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to say first things first, Joel. You are much braver than I am. If there's one fan base I am most frightened of upsetting, it's Sydney Roosters fans. Now, there's all the jokes about the Roosters not having fans. I'm absolutely frightened of you guys. You guys have hammered me time and time again, and I only post news. So I'm not saying a single word towards you Roosters fans. I give you all the credit and love and respect in the world because you guys are absolute savages. So I will not be commenting. I'll not be piggybacking off Joel's comments. I'm not in affiliation in that little situation, but absolutely wild that this is where they've kind of gone in. We went from round 10 return to a round 6 return. Now, I will say in Radley's defense, Radley has, I believe, taking out Nick Politis' comments about, anyone who does something silly will be sacked. I think that he's been perhaps harshly punished for that little situation, just taking that out. Now, he's been suspended without pay, which has cost him around 100 grand. He's donated another 30 grand to the St. Vincent's Hospital towards cancer research, which is a beautiful thing. It also costed him his wedding. Now, he was meant to get married. That's now been cancelled because he's been suspended without pay. It's costed him a lot of money. And I think it's been a very harsh punishment, but not harsh compared to what Nick Politis said he was going to do. So that's already confusing as it is. Now, the Roosters, they've revealed, or the Daily Telegraph has revealed, that Trent Robinson and Nick Politis have had a conversation and agreed he will be available for selection in round 6 next year. Now, whether fair or not, I think that the biggest kind of the punishment to Radley was the pay thing anyways. And I think the Roosters realize that and also realize they need their forward next year. So it's probably a little bit, a bit of a hard one there. But if we're looking at pure punishment, I think that the 130 grand out of his pocket would probably be enough anyways for Radley to learn his lesson for next time.
I'll just say I agree. I actually thought the punishments were harsh, but going off what Uncle Nick was saying and how harsh he was, and how he was quick to throw shade at the bunnies and how they handled things, which again, I thought was pretty poor. They should have dealt with Latrell, in my opinion, a bit harsher than they did. So I get it, but he's just basically fallen flat on his sword in a way and just gone off and gone back twice now on everything he said, which I just find funny. And look, the Roosters fans, they're quick to throw shade. They've got to be able to cop it as well. So I think that's one thing for them I've realized is they love to throw it and they can't really take it back. So you want to get in the comments and throw some stuff, I'll take
once
it.
Again. It's all good. I'm not. I think you are. I'm an honorary Roosters fan. Don't. No, but absolutely. It's all in jest. Let's just be kind in the comments. But yeah, it's definitely. And the thing is, Roosters fans, what I found is they're very split on this. But it's definitely a confusing one. And I don't even know if it's something that you can support or go against if you're a Roosters fan, because as you said, the punishment itself was harsh, but not harsh compared to what Nick Politis said originally. So I can see both sides. I just don't like the situation in general, to be honest.
Next week's episode with Roosters paraphernalia decked out. He'll be Roosters head. He'll be turning to Shaggy. So we'll see
I would never don another color that is not the blue and white of my Bulldogs. So I will. I'll pause it there.
Yeah, you won't go that far, Roosters fan. Just be kind to him, please. But you know what? I'm a free target. I've copped enough the last 2 days, and why not just keep going? Thoughts on the draw, mate? So we've got obviously round 1, and we've got Magic Round so far that has been leaked, basically not leaked, but they've actually posted it. So they've given us a sneak peek. It's out tomorrow, I think 11 a.m. New South Wales time, 10 a.m. Queensland time. Most of you listen to this on today, so it'll be out today. What are your thoughts? So obviously the Tigers once again a bye in round 1, second in 3 weeks, 3 years, sorry, which isn't the nicest thing to do, to be fair. Magic Round, the Raiders miss out, which I actually think hasn't been spoken about enough. I actually think that's that's a huge mistake by the NRL, in my opinion, because one thing I've been to the last like 4 or 5 Magic rounds. Raiders fan base there is one of the better ones in my opinion. Like from what I've seen in the noise and the atmosphere and that, they're underrated. Their fan base. They travel. They love it. I was shocked when I seen that the Raiders aren't included in the Magic round. So firstly, the buys, Isaac, what are your thoughts around that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely underrated. I guess you could say they're underrated.
Oh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I saw that and I was like, are we being serious right now? The best side in the comp last year, I get it, they didn't win the premiership, but the best side in the regular season, who drew record numbers, who were absolutely up in arms last year, got better this offseason, arguably. I know they lost Fogarty, but that is such a slap in the face to a club that made history last year and really like brought so much to the game in 2025. Now, to lose them at Magic Round is a real shame. Now I get it; it's an AI generated draw, however they're doing it. Now we were talking about ChatGPT before. I'm a huge fan of ChatGPT. Not happy with it in this situation. I think it's really dropped the ball here.
I call BS on this as well, by the way. I don't buy AI.
It feels like a bit of a scapegoat, doesn't it?
There's way too many storylines in round one, for instance, to be AI. That's looks like it's got someone at NRL's fingerprints all over it. Because, like I said, funnily enough, pretty much every single game has a storyline about something recently happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that I'm not a fan of the Raiders thing at all, and I think it's a real shame. I also the Tigers thing really sucks because I guess it's one of those things where it's one of your bigger fan bases, and it's a fan base that I guess has struggled in recent years, and I don't think punishing them in round one is really the way to go. I think what should be practice is potentially give a bye to one of the grand final teams. They're the most spent and they're most they played the most recent rugby league. Often they do play the World Cup Challenge as well. The World Club Challenge, against the Super League grand final winner. Give the Broncos a break. I know I get it, the numbers and the storylines, I get it absolutely 100%. But if you want to go about it in a fair way that doesn't just leave out a club for no reason, give the Broncos a break. They'd be absolutely exhausted. I know Reece Walsh would need a break, and Payne Haas and Paddy Carrigan. So, no, I don't like it. And I think that if you're not going to go that route, then just keep it one side per year. For example, if you're the West Tigers and you miss out on round one, you don't miss out on a round one again for 17, 18 years. Yes. And you're going to go every other team through the year because there's no real justification behind it. So if you really want to give it to a random team, then go one team per year. Even do an alphabetical order. No one will be upset with you if you go alphabetical order for both Magic Round and the first round of the year. So there's definitely ways around it. I feel like the NRL has been somewhat harsh in what they've done there.
Absolutely. And the thing that sucks, I'm actually, as an NRL fan, Tigers for mine are a huge watch to start the year. They're under a bit of pressure. Benji's under immense pressure to start next year. They're a team that really needs to start well. So to have them sort of not falter at the gate, but have to wait there an extra 100 meters and then get to have to start, it just sort of, it's not really right in my opinion. I agree. But luckily, obviously, we'll get it for 1 year anyway. We have no buys, but then we go back to the buys. So we'll see what happens in there. But I thought we finally get a reprieve, yes, no more buys, all this footy. And then, hang on, that's a false alarm. We're back to buys. Another thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you picked up on this, Isaac, I think there's 4 games that are happening in round one that we basically just regurgitate and is happening again in Magic Round. So it's the same matchups, which I just think is weird in itself as well.
I did not even notice that.
I've had a look. I've had a big look, mate. I've looked at that because I noticed obviously straight away Parra versus the Storm round one. Reverse them again, Magic Round. And then I think there's 3 other matchups which I can go over and check.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, there you
go. There's a number which I just find strange because it's inside, about 9 weeks where we're versing teams twice already. It's a real pet hate of mine that we do this. Why can't we just verse everyone once and then get into the second lot of games and things? Doesn't make sense to me.
It's overcomplicated as is, and I think that's what and we're seeing with all these leaks and stuff. I think there's too many chefs in the kitchen. If you're going to get AI to do it, get it to do it behind closed doors. There really shouldn't be this many leaks as is, and not this much confusion and this many gripes about what the NRL draw is. It is a real simple way to do it. We've got alphabetical order. We've got team by team. It doesn't need to be this super complex thing where we've got AI involved and we've got the Daily Telegraph leaking everything. I get it. You want to draw hype. I understand completely. But this is probably not good enough for me and what I've seen personally.
Yep, I agree. Anything else to touch on with the draw, mate? Anything else that you looked at, or anything you want to be positive about with the draw so far?
I think I definitely don't have anything positive to say. I think we noticed as well, part of the leaks was that 3 Sydney teams, I believe, will not get a home game for the first 3 to 4 weeks. Now, I know the Bulldogs were one of them. I believe the Rabbitohs and Eels were the other clubs.
Eels.
I might be. Yep. So there's a few clubs that won't get a home game for the first 3 to 4 weeks, which is a huge shame. Now, I believe that, that has to do with the stadiums and the state of them at the moment. But that's something also to keep an eye on. So a lot of fans won't be able to get to their club's home game until probably round 4, round 5. So.
Yep. And once again, no surprise here. And the Dolphins are away sides in Magic Round. So once again, we see it. And we've had some nice discussions this afternoon in the group chat about this. So shout out to the guys in there, and it is just ridiculous. I think everyone's at the point where they're over it.
From what I've been told, or what I've seen, is the home side gets a certain pay. They get paid out a certain amount if they're the home side. So I believe the whole process of it is so the Broncos aren't getting paid for something that or get paid extra for something that is going to be in Brisbane either way. Now, I don't know if that soothes many fans, but it is something to take account of. It is something to be aware of. The Broncos won't be getting, for example, the Broncos are versing the New Zealand Warriors. The New Zealand Warriors will get that home crowd, the home revenue pay. So probably not a huge comforter there, but it is something to take note of.
Tell you what, that's a weird game to put on as Magic Round as well, because that would normally rate the house down in terms of the crowd would be sellout at Suncorp. Warriors versus Broncos normally. That was a weird one, actually. I was a bit surprised they did that. But let's get into, normally we do the mailbag at this time of the show, but there is not much to happen this week in terms of Isaac's mailbag because he's been so busy. His personal life has just been off the charts, and he's slowly not saving the world anymore. He's putting eggs in other baskets. He's just everywhere. So instead, he's been a super busy man this afternoon, as those that follow his page would know. So I just thought quickly, if you haven't already, go over and please check it out. Isaac _ is a journalist. If I've got, I should have.
Isaac Issa _ journalist. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I got the underscore wrong. My apologies, guys. I'm going to get shot after this for that one. He'll go, how dare you get the name wrong? But
there's an Isaac _ Issa journalist out there who's going to get a lot of follows, and it's not me.
Shout out to you, mate. We might be able to get you back on as well next week. An Isaac off would be fantastic. But he didn't get a race to 10K and get that done in a week, so that didn't happen either. What about? Just talk to us about this week today. Actually, obviously a fair few stories that you just threw out at us. I didn't even have time to read them all, but talk to us. What's there to chat about?
There's a lot kind of going on at the moment. Let's start with the Broncos, who got a couple of big stories coming out. Now let's talk about the biggest one. Payne Haas, top 3 player in our game, top 2, top 1. Now everyone's talking about the huge annual money that these R360 players are going to make per year. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million a year. Payne Haas, if he does decide to join the R360 competition, for those of you who don't know, it's a Saudi Arabian rugby union comp that is taking over our league, it seems. Payne Haas, if he were to join R360, would receive $3 million up front just for signing with the competition, as well as a $2 million per year salary. So let's all say goodbye to Payne Haas and wish him all the best in Dubai or wherever he ends up, because there is absolutely no way he doesn't take that offer. And if he does, I'm gonna yell at him. Absolutely insane. Now, I believe a few of his concerns is the commercial side of R360, and so that's why he would like to get that $3 million up front. Look, if I had $3 million in my pocket, I'd probably give it to Payne Haas as well, just to be around him, not even to pay him to play footy. But they do want him to play footy, and he will be making quite a bit of money if he does decide to go over there. And at the moment, he's weighing it up. Now, his loyalty does lie in Brisbane. He loves the Broncos. He's said it time and time again. But at the end of the day, you got to look after your family and set them up for life. And this is going to be absolutely the way to do that. So, huge news dropping. That's the first part of our Broncos news. But what are your thoughts, mate?
Firstly, Payne, if you've got a bit of loose change about it, you're going to sponsor this show, just reach out now that you've got that extra little bit of money, and we can chat. We can name this the Payne Haas off season, whatever you want. We'll do it for you. So the pain in the Haas off season, mate. There's so much we can do with it. We can have a bit of a play around. That's just off the cuff. Imagine when we sit down and we can work things out. But
we'll
honestly,
just
no one out there.
Over and over, Payne Haas. We'll just chant your name over and over. We don't even need to talk about footy.
I'll sit through every second of R360 if you sponsor this podcast, Payne, and that's saying something, because at this stage I don't reckon I'll watch a single second. So, look, no one can begrudge him. Like, there'll be heroes in comments and stuff saying, how dare him, and no loyalty, blah, blah, but come on, man. It's ridiculous money. And I think we spoke about this last week. Ridiculous money to do basically a tenth of what he would do in the NRL, which is to smash his body on a weekly basis. It is just, mate, like you said, you'd literally be going off at him if he doesn't take it. It's going to get $3 million up front, plus basically what, if it's still going to be happening, $3 million a year after that as well. They're going to get to travel everywhere around the world. He's going to look after, everyone talks about his personal life, which is obviously happening, but not just that, he gets to then set up his own kids and own younger brothers and sisters and that as well. Like, it's just stupid money. He has to. It's at the point now. He has to take it. He has to. They've left him no choice.
Yeah, and look, and Payne Haas he's got a beautiful family, a beautiful young family that he would be able to give them the experience of a lifetime. He's got his younger brothers obviously as well, who he would just be setting up. And not only that, Payne Haas is 25 years old. He's done it all. He has done everything in our game. There's nothing left. Now, if you're Payne Haas, do you want to, finish your career as the greatest forward of all time, which is awesome. And he would, if he played in the NRL for another 5 years, he will finish as the greatest NRL player of all time, NRL forward of all time. Likely be an immortal, and be the greatest Brisbane Bronco of all time.
I think he's right up there already. What he does on the field is ridiculous.
I'd say he's top 3, top 5 max. He is absolutely. I already personally think he's the greatest forward of all time, just quietly. But now you can do that, or you can become one of the greatest or cross-code athletes of all time and make double, if not triple, what you would have made just in the NRL. You would be an absolute superstar. Look at Sonny Bill Williams. Look at the star power that Sonny Bill holds. To this day, we talk of Sonny Bill, and he's just an absolute star. And Payne Haas would probably be bigger than that. He's a marketable name. He's a freak of nature. He's not bad to look at, and he would be making a lot of money. Payne Haas, thank you for your services to our game. And I will definitely be catching at least one R3. I will watch one R360 game, and it's only if Payne Haas is playing in it. So huge news over there from Brisbane. But we've also got another potential.
And there you go, Payne.
Yeah, we've got
just quickly. There you go, Payne. You've got Isaac checking you, and he approves very much so. And just one final thing I want to just quickly say about this. Yeah, I reckon he will absolutely call the NRL's bluff on this, because there is no way, if this falls through in the next 2 or 3 years, there is absolutely no way in the world the NRL will say no to Payne Haas coming back. They will welcome him back, knowing what he can produce and the player he is, with open arms. I have absolutely no doubt about that.
You think they'll pull a Nick Politis, go back on their word, huh?
Well, they've already said in the fine print, they said that they've got basically final say on some of those players. So I felt like they left themselves open to hey, if a superstar like a Payne Haas or a Reece Walsh went, we're not going to cost ourselves in the long run. Like if they want to come back in 3 or 4 years' time, well, we're going to welcome them. So they're not like for mine. If it's like a Dry Gray or someone, if he goes, whatever, see you later, we'll move on without you. But we're talking Payne Haas, like you said, potentially the best forward of all time. There is no way in the world we will not welcome him back. I can't see it.
I'm actually, and I've seen quite a few people say that. I'm actually of a different. I think the NRL will stay strong. I think they're, and look, maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I'm being naive, but they doubled down when the whole news of Payne Haas came out. They doubled down that they will be bent. I don't know.
They've got to. They've got to be publicly like that. But
I respect it, and I'm probably being very naive at the moment, but I'm of the opinion that they will stick to it. But I also don't think that Haas would come back. I can see him going. If he switches to Union, I think that he'll potentially go play overseas or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, even if he gets 3-4 years out of R360, he'll be getting around $10 million. So it's absolutely worth it. And yeah, all the best to you, mate. I support it. Another contract, bit of news coming out of the Broncos is Ben Hunt, who is, I think, 87, 88 years old. He wants to play on in the NRL. No, he's only 35. He's got plenty of time left in the league. And he thinks so as well. And he wants to play on, and he's now weighing up a Broncos extension. And the Broncos are saving room in the cap to potentially keep him on in 2027 as well.
Is the game too soft now? How are these playmakers getting to like 40 basically and saying, yeah, no, I can keep going? Mate, 10 years ago, 32, you're going, oh, I'm done. This is too much for me. My body's aching. I can't get up out of bed. Yeah. Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds are both basically getting annoyed the fact that the Broncos have signed a young star in Pezzett saying, hey, I can go again.
Yeah. Well, look at Cooper Cronk. He was on his last legs in his final game, and you got Ben Hunt over here. You got Daly Cherry Evans, who looks like he would, like he's a freak of nature and he's an athlete, but he doesn't look like he's some, huge athlete or anything. He's like, let's go again and give me a player option for 2027. These playmakers want to keep going and going. So, yeah.
If it was just off looks for Daly Cherry Evans and we didn't know his age, if news came out that he signed a 5-year deal with the Roosters, everyone would just be like, oh, yeah, okay, sweet. But it's the fact that we do know his age. It's like, oh, okay, like he's got to hang up the boots. But by appearance and by look, you could say he could go for another like 3, 4, 5 years. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Get in front of a forward, your playmaker. Stop hiding.
Well, look where it's working, and if Ben Hunt can get another contract extension out of it. And so look, he's made it clear that 2026 is by no means guaranteed to be his last year, and he would like to play on. And so the Broncos are now making room or saving room in the cap for him in 2027 should he want to stay on at the club.
I would keep him over Reynolds, to be honest, because he's a bit more versatile. So if I had to choose one, I'd be going Ben Hunt over Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm surprised Adam Reynolds wants to play on, and not to say that he doesn't have any passion for the game. He definitely does, but I think it's clear that his body's starting to shut down on him. I'm honestly very surprised that he's of the belief that he's still got it in him, and not to say he is the star of our game, and I love Adam Reynolds, but his body has been giving up on him in the last couple of years. He couldn't even get through the grand final, so I respect it. I would have understood if he hung it up after winning the premiership this year, let alone thinking about playing in 2027. And I know he's a Rabbitohs great, and there's talk of him potentially going back to the Rabbitohs. I see him more as a Bronco now than I do as a Rabbitoh, and I would like to see him retire with the Brisbane Broncos in 2026.
Yeah, stay there, coaching staff, set himself up for life. So makes sense. Anything else?
That's pretty much it. There's a few little things as well going around at the moment, but that's basically the major stuff. And look, I believe the next week is going to be a juicy one as well. There's a few things bubbling up in the background. There's a few big extensions coming out. One of the big extensions was obviously Rob Toya today, yet to be confirmed by the Roosters, but that seems to be all but done. And I'm expecting a few bigger, we've got Jaden Campbell, we've got Viliami Kikau, we've got, a bit of news around, rumbles around Jareem Buller as well. So I think over the next week, a few things will come to light. And I think we've got an even bigger episode next week as well.
Oh, look out. Finally, we obviously mentioned there has been some confirmed signings. So just in case those that just listen to the podcast and don't have social media or whatever. So we've got Dane Laurie has signed with the Raiders for 3 years at the moment. And I put a post out a bit early because I'm looking at their spine, their side, what they've got, and just see where he fits in. It's an odd deal, in my opinion, for just depth alone to get him for 3 years. Like a fantastic deal, don't get me wrong. But for his point of view, it's a weird one because you'd think if you're going firstly from Penrith to Canberra for 3 years, you'd have to think he's been told by Ricky there's some plans for him for some really quality first grade football time, which at the moment on face value, looking at the lineup and the best lineups that they've got, it's hard to find a spot for him. So very interested to see how that one plays out.
Yeah, and the interesting thing as well is that he rejected the Bulldogs to go to the Raiders, which is really interesting because I'd argue there's more room. Like that fullback role over the Bulldogs could be his. It's not by no means locked into Connor Tracy at the moment. So that's definitely a surprising one for sure.
There is some little rumors out there that people in the comments have been saying that the Raiders means Laurie might go to forward, but I just don't see that one because Weeks is coming off one of his best years to date, or his best year to date, where he's now, like you said, a top 5 or 7 fullback in the game. I don't see them changing him out of fullback yet. Next one, Fletcher Baker and Gordon Chan Kum Tung. This name always gets me. But both are signed with the Bulldogs. So at the time, I didn't know the length. I think Fletcher Baker's only for the 1 year, but I believe Chan Kum Tong is for 2 years, actually. So a couple of nice little additions, and that's to partner with the Sean O'Sullivan signing as well.
Yeah, so I absolutely love the Chan Kum Tong deal. So he's signed on a development deal for 2026, and then he'll move into the top 30 in 2027. That's what his deal is looking like at the moment. I love the Chan Kum Tong because he is a Bulldogs junior, I believe. I believe he played for the Bankstown Bulls, which quick fun fact, I played for them, I think, for 2 years. Ooh. So we've got some connections there, me and Kantong. So if you want to hit me up, we can have a chat about the good old days. No, I represent the Bankstown Sporties at all times. I'm not going to turn my back on them. But yeah, he is a Bulldogs youngster. Fletcher Baker, I don't mind. I like that signing if he can, I guess, reach the potential that I think a lot of us saw when he was at the Roosters. I definitely think he's got it in him, and he's very young. He's in his early 20s. So and obviously Sean O'Sullivan's a good one as well. I think that's a good depth piece. And if anything, he could be the Toby Sexton, and we can just go back to what works and have a halfback, which would be absolutely brilliant to see in the Bulldogs. And Sean O'Sullivan isn't as old as people think. I believe he's only like 27, 28. So he's not old by any stretch. So a few good signings over there in Belmore.
Man, just this signing quickly. Manly's hooker position is a bit how you going next year? Yeah, because there's rumors. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but Kroger's basically retired now, hasn't he? There was strong mail that he wasn't coming back.
I don't believe he is. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure he's set to medically retire, most likely. Yep.
So they've got Simpkin at the moment, and that is it. Which, to be fair, Simpkin's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's someone that you'd look at and say, "All right, we can be a leading contender of this competition with Simpkin at hooker." He's more like a 14 and can do his job when required as depth and things like that. So, yeah, that's interesting. It looks like on face value, they don't really have much money at the moment either, Manly. They're just struggling to do much. They're a bit stale, aren't they? Like, I don't know. They're a bit stale at the moment.
They're putting all their money into Tom Trebojevic in 2026, I believe, or 2027, the $900,000 paycheck, which I hope pans out for him. They've obviously got Fogarty over there. So they've signed now Zach Docker-Clay from the Sydney Roosters, who can play hooker, can play in the halves. You'd prefer to have him in hooker. And he's a good little player. He's obviously a little bit older. He debuted pretty late in his career. I think he could be good for them at hooker, but he's by no means a long-term option in the 9 jumper.
Finally, mate, have you got any plans about Magic Round next year? What are you thinking?
Mate, I'm not too sure. It's been a couple of years since I've been to Magic Round. Now, I will say that Suncorp is the greatest stadium I've ever been to in my life. That was an unreal experience. And that comes from someone who, for all his home games, has to go to a core stadium, which I absolutely hate doing. That Suncorp is absolute. It's a spectacle in rugby league, and I'm so keen for it next year.
Mate, nothing's completely confirmed yet, but we've got to get you up here, and I'll be doing a couple of events over the Saturday and the Sunday. I have more to come once everything's confirmed, but mate, would love to have you up here for it, and love to have you part of those sorts of things, and get everyone to come and meet the famous Isaac. So
not famous yet, but I'll always take a trip up to Queensland if I can. I love it over there. I'm a proud New South Welshman, but I would love to come up. So yeah, absolutely, that can be something that we tee up, because I think that there's been a little bit too long of a break for me going to Magic Round, and I had such a good time last time that I'd definitely be keen on going next year.
We're going to make it happen, guys. Do not worry about that. But that is it for us. Make sure you go and like, subscribe, comment on the video. Please help it grow and reach all the crazy people out there that we love to talk to. Let us know your thoughts on anything big. Roosters fans, come at me, not Isaac. Please do not do that to him. But apart from that, go and follow Isaac on the social media. For me, I've got a little special request for you guys. We did it for Isaac. I'm not anticipating it to be as quick this time, but I'm on a race to 10K as well over on Instagram. So I think I'm about 500 shy. So help us, get us over there, and I'll be so rapt to hit the 10K mark. More of your Facebook followers, go on over to Instagram, please. And we're killing Facebook. Go and help beef up some Instagram numbers. But please, hopefully over the next, before we sign out for the year, so we've got another 2 weeks, that'd be awesome to reach by that stage. So please help us out, guys. League of Inches, Instagram, smash that follow button.
And if we can get him there, I promise I will drop the biggest news. Even whether it's true or not, I will drop some big news for you in the next couple of weeks. Again, I'm promising it'll be true.
It'll be true,
but it'll be something. I'll dig something up for you guys if you can get him to 10K.
Look, he won't fabricate much, guys. I'll make sure it's the truth. I'll pull something out of you to make sure it is the truth. We don't fabricate nothing here. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Isaac, do you want to have a shout out to anyone out there special? I think there's a guy with the initials BA that you might just want to say a quick hello to on his holiday.
I hope that everyone's enjoying their off season. I hope everyone's enjoying their off season. I want to make clear, with any and all news that I drop, the intention is always pure. I think I potentially upset one of the great legends of our game in Braithen Nassa. I don't think I upset him, but I think he wasn't overly impressed with one of my posts. I just want to make clear that every piece of news is with the urgency to get the utmost correct information for you all. So I hope everyone who is enjoying their off season is enjoying it. Get a few beers in you, get some food in you, get some sun, and leave me alone. So thank you.
I think old BA Braithen Nassa is a bit emotional at the moment. He was out at Bali with some mates the first week, it looks like, and they, by his quote, weren't first grade standards, so they seem to have let him down. He's had a few bing tangs. He's got a bit happy on Instagram, and I love to see it. Braith, we've had some great chats, so nothing to do with me this time. Just everything is at Isaac, nothing to do with our page either. Thank you, mate. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. Go and enjoy the week. It's, as Isaac said, be across the pages because it seems like we're just getting started with all these signing news, rumors, and everything. It seems like it's going to beef up this week, so get some sleep while you can, Isaac. We're going to be needing it. See you guys all next week. Goodbye.